This is Nat with the Other Side Nursery, and today we'll talk about the thing that I hear people saying very often, and that is them not being successful with their succulents. So the important thing to know is that not all succulents are the same. Some are from deserts, high deserts, low deserts, various different types of deserts. So that means they are exposed to all the elements and full sun and stuff like that. And some succulents are from tropical jungles. Some will grow on trees, like understory of trees. So just knowing the type of succulents you're getting would help you become successful. So here at the shop, we do label all of our succulents with their genus, at least their genus. Most of the times we can get their species, but sometimes stuff like echeverias, they all look almost exactly the same. So it's a little bit harder to identify them unless we get them specifically, knowing what they are, species or hybrid wise. So let's talk about the light. Lighting is very important for all plants, especially succulents. Just because it looks bright to us doesn't always mean that it is sufficient to growing succulents or other plants. I have this split off into higher light, pretty much full sun stuff, and lower light succulents over here. The difference is these can tolerate pretty much full sun, full blazing sun. Stuff like saguaros, opuntia, echeverias, they can definitely do best in full all day 10 to 15 hours of sun. Echeverias though, any kind of these little tender, soft little thing, just keep in mind if you're in the desert, Phoenix, Arizona, just do half-day sun or even just morning sun, because your sun will end up melting the succulents. But these little spiky stuff, anything with a lot of defensive mechanism to them, they will be great in sun. And knowing where they are from would be extra helpful, just because sometimes the dormancy periods is a little bit different, but we'll touch up on that in a little bit. Over here though, we have lower light stuff like Stipalia, disco cactus, Haworthiopsis, Haworthia. Their natural environment is under deep canopy. Well, not so deep canopy, but under bushes, under shrubs. Stuff like Haworthias, they're found buried underground almost the entire year. In their natural habitat, they're just kind of underneath the soil line, and they poke out these little window things just to grab a little bit of light so that they can at least produce some form of chlorophyll and photosynthesis and stuff like that. Disco cactus, Epiphyllum, Selenoceras, they're found in more tropical areas of the world. They are found growing on trees, so with that, they only get dappled lighting. So a lot of times I know a lot of growers, they just kind of grow them underneath big trees so that they get that dappled lighting. So they can't really handle full sun too well. Stuff like Ripsalis, same thing. They're found naturally growing on trees and stuff like that. This will become a nice vine, vining down. So east window is great for the lower light stuff. South window would be best for the higher light stuff. That, or just leave them outside full sun, acclimate them first before you commit them to full sun. And by acclimating, I mean inching them out further and further into that full sun, or else you'll end up burning them. In general, with all plants, if you're trying to, unless it's growing outside already, like annuals, perennials, trees, shrubs, bushes, whatever, just kind of acclimate them a little bit. Or else you'll have a nice scarring on your plant for a while. So, east window, south window, and if you are going with artificial lighting, make sure that it's more than just one strip of LED that's all colorful and everything, because it's fine for leafy tropical plants, but for succulents, that one strip LED kind of thing isn't strong enough for it. If you try though just make sure you elevate it pretty close to that LED strip just to try to, get the brighter side of things. So with the soil, just go with succulent soil. There's a lot of different brands out there. All brands are fairly good. I would just kind of make sure though that it's mixed with pumice, perlite, sand, and all that stuff just to help the water drain a little bit more. If you don't have succulent soil available, just go with standard potting soil and add a little bit of pumice or sand or perlite or all of it in there just to kind of help with the drainage. So with that, let's talk about water. With watering, it is pretty important just to make sure you know how to water, when to water. Not all succulents would die when you water them, but watering them at the wrong time can cause a little bit of death there. So with the North American stuff like Opuntia, once again, the saguaro, any of these little Mammillaria, Perodia, just water a lot more often during the warmer season. The South American stuff, you can kind of water throughout the whole year. They don't really have true season. They will flower at a certain time though, but when you start seeing flower, water them a little bit more often, but they can kind of have sporadic watering throughout the year. The thing about these though is that most of them, the North American stuff, most of them are monsoon growers, so they would require a lot more water during the hotter seasons. So a lot of plants will grow during the warmer season. Just don't oversaturate everything every single day. Let it dry out slightly before you do water it. Some plants will tolerate it more. Stuff like Opuntia, they can do fairly wet during summertime just because they're from that area of the desert. But there are some winter growing stuff like Aeonium that will appreciate more water during the winter time. So once again, you kind of have to know the name of your plant just to figure out what kind of watering cycle they're on. Go with what the genus and species of your plant would be. With watering though, you don't have to sparingly water your plants. Saturate the soil, except for the lithops, living stones, maybe saturate it, but let it dry out completely for the next 3-4 weeks or so before you water it again, or at least when it starts to wrinkle, just start to water it again, because you can rot that one out pretty easily. But other succulents, they can do damp soil also. As long as there's a lot of drainage to it, they can be watered a little bit more often. If it's a compact kind of compost thing that holds water for the next 3 weeks or so, first of all, repot that. That or just let the plant dry out very well. It's a lot easier just to repot it with a new soil though. So in short, know the type of plant that you're getting, because not all succulents are the same. Once again, they will require different amount of lighting, different amount of water, different watering schedule throughout the year. So I wish I had a one answer for all of them, but there is no one answer for everything. All plants are kind of different. Succulents are all over the place. Yeah, so when you visit, I can definitely help you choose the perfect plant for you, depending on the location, where it's going to be growing, indoor, outdoor, stuff like that. Right now, we mainly have indoor kind of stuff just because of our location. There's no outdoor space. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 971-754-9013 or email us at info@theothersidenursery. We'll be here to answer all your questions. Thank you.